Hi kids, I'm making this video to walk you through the process of writing your first paragraph. The first paragraph flows logically from the headline, and this is why I asked you to write the headline before you write the first paragraph. The order of information in your first paragraph should be the who, so that's usually but not always a person, sometimes it's a place or an institution, and then the what, which is the newsworthy event that happened. And then after that, any other stuff that is the least a reader would need to know to be informed. So, such as the where and the when. So, if you include the where and the when, where is almost always going to come before when. There's some exceptions when it would make more sense to put the when first, but usually you're going to put the where first. Your first paragraph should mostly just repeat what's in the headline, just growing it into a complete sentence and adding a little more detail. And hopefully you remember this from the activity where you were exploring hard news articles. The first paragraph and all the paragraphs in your hard news story should be 1 or 2 sentences long, no longer than that. If you got that one wrong on that activity that we did several classes ago, now would be the time to go back and change that answer, because you almost never see hard news stories with paragraphs longer than 2 sentences. So below, I give you a bunch of examples of real headlines and the real first paragraphs they went with them. And in each example, I put the who in pink and the what in yellow, because I want you to see how in each case, the first paragraph flows logically from the headline. It basically just repeats the info from the headline and expands it a little bit. Expands it means grows it, adds a little more to it. So here there's this restaurant that caught on fire and got damaged. The who is Jim Dandy's restaurant, and the what is it was heavily damaged in a 3-alarm blaze. Right, I didn't highlight that. It's like, is it part of the what? Yeah, I guess kind of. All right, so Jim Dandy's restaurant, heavily damaged. Here's what Jim Dandy's restaurant becomes in the first paragraph. Jim Dandy's, the Rutherford restaurant known as the home of killer ribs. So they give a little more info about the who, and then actually they just repeated the what verbatim, word for word. Was heavily damaged. Except notice we're making it a complete sentence. We're using forms of the verb to be. Was heavily damaged. And then this particular first paragraph includes the when. They actually inserted the when in the middle of the what. And ends with the source of the information. So this is the additional info they added in the first paragraph. This part just repeats the who, and this part just repeats the what. Here's a headline: driver killed when car runs off I-295 and overturns in one-car crash. So the who is a driver, and the what is they were killed. And this is more information about how they were killed. So here, the who becomes a West Deptford Township man. So they're giving a little more info. And then died, that actually stays the same. And then we get the when. Do you remember I said the where usually comes before the when? In both the cases we saw right now, that's happening. So in the first one, Rutherford is the where, Wednesday is the when. Here, we already got the where, I-295 in the headline, and the when is here, Monday. Here's a fun one. The Krispy Kreme is the who, to honor 2020 graduates with free dozen donuts. So I hope you remember that in headlineese, when something's going to happen in the future, and that's the news story, we say to plus the verb. So Krispy Kreme is going to honor. So here they just repeat the subject verbatim. They probably don't need to say Krispy Kreme, popular donut restaurant, right? Because everybody knows Krispy Kreme. So Krispy Kreme, and then they expand the what. Will offer a free dozen donuts to any college or high school graduating senior. So to honor with free dozen donuts becomes will offer a free dozen donuts. And then 2020 graduates becomes any college or high school graduating senior. So they're growing it a little more. They're making it a complete sentence. Then they added a little more info. from May 18th to 24th at participating locations. Here, the where comes after the when, but in this case, it's because there is no one where, because Krispy Kreme has locations all over the place. New NJ student picked to speak at worldwide virtual graduation featuring celebrities. So here the what is NJ student, and in the first paragraph it becomes a class of 2020 Rutgers University students. So it is grown a little bit. Pick to speak just stays will speak, it's actually shorter. And then the first paragraph grows the rest of the info that's mentioned in the headline. The headline says virtual graduation featuring celebrities. And then virtual graduation here becomes virtual commencement event. That's longer. And then featuring celebrities becomes will feature dozens of luminaries and celebrities from the blah, 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 and blah worlds. So in each case, it's growing a little bit. Here's one that's a little long and wordy, so I saved it for the end. NJ, that's the who, so state of New Jersey, orders car, comma, business insurers to cut premiums, comma, give refunds. That's, remember in headlines we use commas instead of and? Here we've got like double use of comma instead of and. So the state of New Jersey, NJ becomes state regulators, and then orders car, comma, business insurers to cut premiums, comma, give refunds becomes told insurance companies they have to cut premiums for motorists and other types of policyholders retroactive for 2 months and refund the difference. All right, so the short version is still complicated, but the long version is like way more complicated, right? In each case, the first paragraph is growing in a little bit. Here, the essential info grows a little bit of essential info that was in the headline. So the headline included due to coronavirus restrictions, and here that gets way longer, thanks to the lower risk of traffic accidents or other kinds of payouts amid the restrictions and economic slowdown caused by the coronavirus outbreak. So all of that is just a longer way of saying this. So in each case, it's like the headline is the seed, and the first paragraph is just the different parts of the plant growing out of the seed. Here's what you're going to do. I want you to paste the headline that you already wrote that hopefully is in headlineese, and then you're going to write your first paragraph by growing each section. If I did that with something that happened at GW not long ago, my headline was author Fleming to visit GW. Remember Candace Fleming came to GW? My who would be the author Fleming, and the what is that she's coming to visit GW. So the first paragraph that would become would be author Candace Fleming. See, author Fleming becomes author Candace Fleming. We're stating the full thing. And to visit GW becomes will visit George Washington Middle School. And then I thought it was important to put the when, because it's like kind of a big deal, on March 10th. All right, so as you're converting your headline into a first paragraph, come and ask me if you have any questions. That's it.